First of all, sir, could you introduce yourself? Who are you? What is it you do?
Hi, my name is Elliott Jaffa, and when people ask what do you do, I usually respond by saying, what do you need done? And after I get the initial chuckle, I usually say, what's your bosses, your CEOs, your presidents' two biggest problems? And oftentimes it's make the cash register ring, which is a marketing issue, thus I do marketing, or it's a people issue, people problem, which is a training issue. So I do training. So essentially, by training, I am a behavioral psychologist. I don't see people, but I see companies and organizations.
And what kind of companies or organizations are you working with typically? Give me an idea of a profile of your customer.
Well, the profile of the customer, it could be one of the Fortune 500 high-tech companies. It could be a .org, such as an association or some other nonprofit. It could be other companies that you've heard of, you haven't heard of. They have the same goal. We have to make our bottom line higher each year.
And what kind of techniques and approaches are you using? What were you employing?
Well, it's based on relationship selling, that we tend to do business with people we like. So before they like their company, they have to like you. For example, everybody probably drives a little further for that manicurist, that barber, that dentist, that physician. They'll pay a couple dollars more to that vendor with whom they do business. Why? Because they like them, they trust them. So before they like your company, they have to like the people, the person with whom they're doing business.
And therefore, does that bring us to something that you'll be talking, what will you be talking about today here at AIBTM?
Today the topic is how to better market your meetings and generate increased revenues. I'm anticipating that the audience is mostly associations, both national and international. Now, I do marketing audits for associations. And you say, what's a marketing audit? Well, it's not like the IRS where you can't change things around. Marketing audit, we use our erasers. So there's nothing etched in stone. So for an example, if an association raises its dues, it upsets 10, 20, 30,000 members. So rather than raising dues, there's other ways to generate revenue. If you provide the value, they will pay. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, as to how to generate increased revenues at the annual meeting.
And is this, I would imagine, is probably a key issue of interest for a lot of the attendees.
It's an issue of interest. Unfortunately, it involves something called change. And people don't like to change because it takes them out of their comfort zone. Association does change its meeting by changing its destination where they hold it each year. But for the most part, a lot of the pre-conference program, the programming, the way they do things remains pretty much the same year after year after year. So what I'm going to try to do is to see, can I get some kind of change going? Now, it's a whole lot different when I'm talking to a group of meeting planners and people from associations in a ballroom versus when I'm on site doing a marketing audit where they listen to every word and I talk to every employee.
Now, could I ask you then, what will be the key thrust of your message? You've given some subjects there. What is the key thrust? Change, or what are you?
Well, what I'm going to first do is assess the audience to see how many people are corporate, how many people are association. Now, hasn't started yet, so I'm guessing most are going to be association, but we never know. So let's use association, which will be the bulk of my audience. So we're going to look at creativity, because if they look at their numbers, about 12% of their members come to their annual meeting. So that means a lot of people stay home. So we have a choice of two things. Can we sell something to the people who stay home, or can we convert the homebodies to come to next year's meeting in whatever city it's being held?
And then for those who are wondering about AIBTM, is this your second visit to AIBTM?
It is.
And how are you finding the show, or how have you found the show last year?
Well, I found that it was the first time that AIBTM did this type of thing, and I think they did a pretty good job. So they had a good response to a hosted buyer program. Now, a hosted buyer program is the smart way of doing business, because if you really, really pre-qualify who you're bringing in, you weed out the kind of freeloaders that the exhibitors are used to. So therefore, they're excited that you're bringing them quality people who actually do put on meetings. Because at other meetings, events similar, that's not a hosted buyer program, anybody can register, whether it's free or they pay their fee. It's minimal. But this is, obviously a significant investment to fly somebody in, put them up at a hotel, feed them for a couple of days. So you want to bring qualified leads in. And the impressive thing with the AIBTM last year, I noticed that when I walked in to that trade show, how many people were sitting down doing business. That it wasn't just standing there chit-chatting. No, they had their pencils out, their iPads out, and they were talking business, which is the way to do things. Unfortunately, associations can learn how to do a hosted buyer program, kind of twitching it for their annual meeting, but it's they may not be ready for it yet, unless they're a really creative, aggressive association.
We're moving to Chicago.
I know you are, Chicago and Orlando.
What's your perspective?
Well, keep in mind, today we're in Baltimore. It's about an hour from Washington, D.C., which is one of the capitals of associations. So you only have 3 cities that have the large pockets of associations. You have Washington, D.C., you have the Chicago area, you have the New York area. However, Chicago, you got your market there. It's an easy flight from D.C., hour and a half. When you move to Orlando, everybody wants to meet Mickey Mouse.
Okay, finally, for those people thinking, we want to find out more about you, want to engage with you, how do they contact you? What's the way to do that?
It's called something called the telephone. I rather deal with somebody voice to voice than text or email because we're building a relationship, and that's how we do business. My name is Elliott Jaffa. That's Jaffa. As a matter of fact, the family has a gate in Israel. We also sell oranges in Israel. So that's how you spell the name, Jaffa. I live in Arlington, Virginia. There's a big cemetery there. It's right outside of Washington, D.C. So all they have to do is pick up the phone. I'll be more than delighted to talk with them.
And you're not into tweeting then?
No. Those are the 6, social media. Let's go back. Social media is an excellent way to be used. However, social media needs its own marketing plan. And few associations or companies have a marketing plan for their social media. The 6 worst words you could say is follow us on Facebook and Twitter, unless it's done right. For example, a meeting might be held in a city and people start tweeting, we're going to have a ball, it's going to be party, party, party. No one's going to read your tweets. However, if somebody signed up for an educational program, first thing I would do if I were a smart association, call that person up. Why did you sign up for that seminar? Oh, I heard that woman speak in Boston. She was excellent. I want to hear her again. The problem I'm having in my organization is this seminar, this workshop looks like it can solve that problem. That's what you put on your website in terms of tweets.
Very, very interesting. So I'll separate that video out. Very interesting. Okay, finally. Oh, the last one is the organizers have asked me to say, are you coming to Chicago?
If they invite me.
On that basis, then, can I get you to look into the lens here and say, let's meet in Chicago?
Okay. Let's meet in Chicago in 2013.